Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jaimini Astrology channel. Again, in today's episode, we will talk about something which we know and describe as Kemadruma Yoga in Jyotisha. It is believed that Kemadruma Yoga brings all kind of difficulties related especially to work for the individual. It might be a difficulty related to finding a job. Kemadruma Yoga might show unemployment, might bring financial difficulties. It might show financially difficult period in individual's life. It also might bring or show loss of a life partner, but mainly it is believed to bring all kind of financial losses. So we will start from traditional Parashari astrology. What circumstances need to be fulfilled in a horoscope to give rise to something which we know as Kemadruma Yoga. And as I say, we'll start from traditional Parashari astrology. First of all, the most important is the placement of the moon. Okay, so we've got Chandra in our chart in front of you. We've got our Chandra in the Tula Rashi. But what is more important? In order to talk about Kemadruma Yoga, we need to have two adjacent houses, two Rashis to the moon being empty, not occupied by a single graha. If you do not have any graha in those adjacent next houses on both sides of the moon, then we might talk about Kemadruma Yoga initially, because these are not all the conditions which have to be fulfilled. Apart from that there are no other grahas in adjacent houses to the position of Chandra or the moon, as you can see on that screen in front of you. In that particular chart, you've got Chandra in the Tula Rashi, two adjacent Rashis to the placement of Chandra, which is Kanya Rashi and Rishika Rashi. They do not contain any graha, any planets. So this is the first initial condition which needs to be fulfilled according to traditional Parashari astrology. But apart from that, Chandra or the moon shouldn't receive any other aspect. Any aspect from the grahas shouldn't be there on Chandra. Take into consideration just traditional Parashari aspects. And as you can see on that picture, taking into consideration traditional aspects, Chandra obviously doesn't have the aspect from Mangala, doesn't have the aspect from Guru, also lacks the aspect from Shani. I've omitted such grahas as Buddha, Shukra, Surya or Ravi. I've not put them here in the chart, but the condition should be clear that Chandra shouldn't receive any aspect from any other graha. And then, if you do not have any grahas placed in adjacent houses, rashis to Chandra, and Chandra doesn't receive also any other aspect from any grahas, then it gives us rise to so-called Kemadruma Yoga, according to traditional Parashari astrology. Okay? But obviously not many people know, this is a minority, saying it gently, that in Jaimini astrology we also distinguish Kemadruma Yoga. Yeah, but that yoga is quite different, or very different, from that version of Kemadruma Yoga which you know from traditional Parashari astrology. Okay, so let me just clear that picture a bit before we carry on. Okay, just give me a second and we'll go to Jaimini Sutra. Okay, I'll go to Jaimini Sutra, chapter 1, quarter 2nd, page 104, 105, sutras 119, 120, and 121. So we're going to start from Sutra 119. Okay, what that sutra says: if there are equal number of malefics in the 2nd and 8th houses from Janma Lagna, Lagna Pada, which is obviously Aruda Lagna, it is a yoga called Kemadruma. I'll read it again. If there are equal number of malefics in the 2nd and 8th houses from Janma Lagna, Lagna Pada is obviously Aruda Lagna, it is a yoga called Kemadruma. This is Sutra 119. Okay, so what we can see in the screen in front of you, you've got one malefic, which is Shani, obviously starting from Lagna. We've got Lagna in the sign of Makara Rashi. Yeah, in the second house you've got first malefic, which is Shani. Then we'll go to the 8th house from the Lagna, which falls in the sign of Simha, Leo. Yeah. Then we've got second malefic, which is Mangala. Okay, so we'll go through that sutra one more time. If there are equal number of malefics in the 2nd and 8th houses from Janma Lagna, Lagna Pada, it is a yoga called Kemadruma. Lagna Pada, repeating once again, it is nothing else but Aruda Lagna. So, if you have, for instance, equal numbers of malefics in the 2nd and 8th houses from Lagna or from Aruda Lagna, in this chart Aruda Lagna would fall in the sign of Meena, for instance. Here, so if you would have here equal number of malefics in the 2nd, yeah, in the 2nd and in the 8th, yeah, it would also give rise to Kemadruma Yoga in Jaimini astrology as well. Okay, but then we'll go to following sutra, Sutra 120. Before we move, let me add another factor here. Okay, we'll place Chandra in the Mesha Rashi, Aries. Okay, and then we'll read Sutra 120. If Chandra aspects the malefics situated in the second and eighth houses as referred to in the previous sutra, the Kemadruma Yoga becomes particularly strong. That's Sutra 120. So what we can see in that picture, we've got Chandra in Mesha Rashi aspecting Shani in the second house of Kumbha and also aspecting the eighth house of Simha, where we can find another malefic, which is Mangala. So after reading Sutra 119, 120 conditions are fulfilled. So what constitutes Kemadruma Yoga? According to Jaimini astrology, equal number of malefics in second and eighth houses from Janma Lagna or Aruda Lagna. Okay, on that picture, in that particular horoscope, we've just taken Lagna in the Makara Rashi. Okay, so Sutra, we talked about Sutra 119, we've got the condition fulfilled. We've just read Sutra 120, what strengthens that Kemadruma Yoga. We'll read it once again. If Chandra aspects the malefics situated in the second and eighth houses as referred to in the previous sutra, the Kemadruma Yoga becomes particularly strong. So, aspects, Rashi Drishti of Chandra strengthens that Kemadruma Yoga. Okay, and then we will go to the last sutra, which is 121. All the results mentioned so far will manifest when the dasha periods of the signs having the planets referred to are actually taking place. So, when we can expect this, I would say, malefic, malicious, call it as you want, effect to be manifested, in individuals' life, according to what the Sutra 121 states during the dashas of Rashis, possessing these malefics, having these malefics, So, for instance, if you would be going through, let's say, Kumbha Dasha, Mahadasha, Kumbha Mahadasha, or Simha Mahadasha, but it also could be that you will be running Mahadasha of a different sign. Might be Mina, might be Kanya, but you'll be going through Antardasha, let's say. Antardasha of Kumbha or Simha, then you might also experience the effects, negative effects brought by that Kemadruma Yoga itself. So, I'll read Sutra 121 one more time to understand it clearly and fully. All the results mentioned so far will manifest when the dasha periods of the signs having the planets referred to are actually taking place. So, I think it is easy and simple to understand. Okay? So, what I can also add, for instance, if you would have just Rahu in the Rahu and Ketu in the second and eighth, without any other malefics, without the aspect of Chandra on them, it might rather point to, I would say, temporary difficulties which could be overcome. Yeah, you could overcome those temporarily, yeah, difficulties. Yeah, it will be difficult period, but just to some point, some degree, and at the end you should overcome the difficulties, yeah, brought by that Kemadruma Yoga. So that's my observation. After that, I would also add that you can see what it is written on the screen in front of you, yeah. We might extend that Kemadruma Yoga to Karakamsha Lagna and Upapada Lagna, but it is worth doing further additional research. Do not take it for granted. For instance, Maharishi Jaimini says clearly that Kemadruma Yoga happens or occurs when you've got equal number of malefics in the second and eighth houses from Janma Lagna or Aruda Lagna. But for the purpose of our research, we might extend it to Karakamsha Lagna and Upapada Lagna to check if it will be working or not, if it will be bringing similar results as it is bringing from Janma Lagna or Aruda Lagna. And I think I'm going to conclude today's episode. Thank you for watching. Take care, good luck, and I'll see you next time.